It's March 1995. The lights are dim, the pyros are hot, and Pro Wrestling Illustrated stands at the crossroads of a sport that refuses to stand still. The world of wrestling is mutating before our eyes, and this issue feels it in every column inch. The sense of history melting into chaos, of heroes turning to myths and villains becoming media moguls. The glossy cover says it all. Hulk Hogan, the immortal, the cartoon, the comeback kid, now staring out from under WCW lights, a Florida tan where once there was New York grit. Inside, editor Stuart M. Sachs and the entire Weston crew put the entire past year under a microscope. Not just a review, but a post-mortem of the wildest 12 months the business has ever known. The issue kicks open with Between Falls, where readers air grievances, corrections, and gratitude in equal measure. They're still debating the PWI 500, questioning placements, demanding justice for their favorites. Someone swears Tatanka was robbed. Another praises the magazine for treating Japanese stars like equals for once. And the editors? They respond with that familiar mixture of patience and pride, reminding fans that every ranking is a labor of obsession, researched, debated, and written in sweat and ink. From there, Ringside with Bill Apter pulls no punches. Apter's notebook overflows with rumors from every corner of the globe. WCW is in a state of transformation, Hogan reshaping it into his own personal kingdom. Ric Flair, the nature boy himself, talks retirement, but can't quite let go. And over in the WWF, the new generation is clawing at the old guard's throne as Bret Hitman Hart tries to restore order while Diesel's engine roars in the background. Apter's tone dances between optimism and disbelief, the sense that kayfabe is still alive, but the real war is for television time and merchandising rights. From there, from the desk of Stuart M. Sachs, delivers a rare moment of reflection. Sachs has seen 23 years of the PWI Achievement Awards, and he marvels at how the fans have changed, how they're smarter, more demanding, more plugged into every whisper behind the curtain. He talks about the honor of being part of something that's outlived promotions, presidents, and pop fads. He calls the fans the true historians of the sport, and you can feel the respect in every sentence. Then the Steel Cage by Chris Bernucca slams you back into the absurdity of 1994, written with a wink, dripping in sarcasm. Bernucca runs through the year's most bizarre moments like a late-night stand-up act, Vince McMahon beating the federal government like it was a Saturday morning squash match, Hulk Hogan turning WCW into the land of red and yellow, and Ric Flair's so-called retirement that fooled absolutely no one. He skewers celebrity involvement, the constant swerve of retirements that never stick, and the sheer audacity of wrestling pretending to be anything but the circus it always was. Craig Peters in Focus takes a lighter touch, presenting the year's strangest fan-submitted top tens, lists that mix parody with prophecy, top 10 excuses for losing to Bob Backlund, top 10 reasons Yokozuna can't find a tag partner, top 10 items in Hulk Hogan's WCW contract. It's the wrestling world seen through the eyes of a fan with a typewriter and too much free time. A glorious reminder that even in an age of kayfabe, laughter keeps the business alive. Andy Rodriguez follows with Win, Lose, or Draw, a cynical masterpiece that argues some wrestlers should have gone on strike in 1994. He points to the endless road schedules, the creative limbo, the title changes that mean nothing, and he calls out managements that pay lip service to loyalty while cutting deals behind the scenes. He talks about workers with no direction and legends with no exit strategy, and it reads like an elegy for every journeyman still bumping for gas money. And then Eddie Elner steps up for Off the Top Rope, answering hate mail like a philosopher with brass knuckles. Readers attack him for bias, for arrogance, for blasphemy, and he responds with eloquence and venom. One fan accuses him of not respecting Lex Luger. Elner replies that respect must be earned, not flexed. Another writes to defend Shawn Michaels, and Elner simply says, arrogance is only forgivable when it's entertaining. It's pure Elner, the kind of writing that made people buy the magazine just to get angry at it. The official wrestling ratings return, those sacred columns of numbers that define careers and fuel barroom arguments. WCW, WWF, ECW, USWA, and Japan. Each federation listed, each champion noted, each contender ranked. Bret Hart reigns as WWF champion, Diesel rising behind him. Hulk Hogan sits atop WCW with Vader breathing down his neck. ECW's Violent Underground earns a half page, a recognition that the blood-soaked future has already begun in bingo halls. Beneath it all, ratings analysis wonders why the WWF tag titles seem cursed. Champions vanishing, storylines collapsing, belts changing hands with no ceremony. Then the issue's spine, 1994, the year in review. 10 pages of history written in the present tense, where every headline feels like it just broke yesterday. It begins with Hogan's WCW debut, the press conference, the contract, the parade, a move that shattered decades of loyalty and rewrote the industry's geography overnight. It dives into Vince McMahon's trial, the steroid scandal that threatened to burn the WWF to the ground, and his improbable, defiant victory. It chronicles the fratricide of the Hart brothers, Bret and Owen, a Shakespearean tragedy that played out across pay-per-views and dinner tables. Flair's retirement match with Hogan, Savage's uncertain future, the death of the territories, the rise of cable-era supercards. It's all here. PWI treats 1994 like an epic, and in truth it was. Flip the page and you hit the fans' holy ground. The Pro Wrestling Illustrated Achievement Awards. The real experts, the readers, have spoken. Wrestler of the Year, Hulk Hogan. Inspirational Wrestler, Lex Luger. Tag Team of the Year, The Smoking Guns. Most Hated, Ric Flair. Most Popular, Sting. Rookie of the Year, the 1-2-3, Kid. It's democracy in spandex, and it means more than any trophy. Each winner gets a blurb, a quote, and a moment in the spotlight, and then comes the Editor's Award given to someone who changed the business for the better. This time it goes to the fans themselves, the resilience of wrestling culture after one of the darkest, weirdest, most transformative years the industry ever saw. Then comes the chaos, your unofficial official awards for 1994. The fans take over, writing in their own categories, and it's glorious. Worst new gimmick, most creative excuse for a no-show, best hair, most likely to turn heel for a paycheck. Someone crowns Abe Knuckleball Schwartz as the most underappreciated athlete of the year. Another insists Doink the Clown deserves a humanitarian award for surviving creative direction. It's satire and sincerity rolled together. A love letter from the people who watch, cheer, and boo with equal passion. The tone shifts again for predictions. 1995. Fans stare into the crystal ball, guessing who will rise, who will fall, who will shock the world. Some believe Hulk Hogan will retire again. He won't. Others predict Bret Hart will regain the WWF title. He will. A few foresee WCW taking over cable TV. They're onto something. It's naive, funny, and weirdly accurate in hindsight. Proof that wrestling fans have always had one foot in fantasy and one in prophecy. Then come the arena reports, the beating heart of the magazine, line after line of match results, each one a story unto itself. The house shows, the pay-per-views, the title defenses in small towns that never made TV. Lex Luger pinning Tatanka in Scranton, Shawn Michaels super-kicking Diesel in Pittsburgh, Arn Anderson wrestling 2 matches in one night. For fans before the internet, this was gold. Proof that what you loved was still happening somewhere out there. PWI Superstats follows. The archivist's dream. Every award winner since 1972, every title change, every runner-up meticulously cataloged. It's the DNA of wrestling's modern mythology, captured in columns of black ink and small print. Steve Anderson's view lightens the mood with a gallery of cartoons, lampooning the absurdity of it all. Yokozuna ordering sushi by the ton. Paul Bearer buying coffin polish in bulk. Vince McMahon portrayed as a game show host of chaos. The humor hits because it's rooted in truth. The madness of the business rendered in ink and laughter. And then, at the end, memories of 94, the editor's picks. Each staff member, Apter, Peters, Elner, Hunter, offers one defining moment from the year. Peters chooses Flair's final walk up the ramp, saying goodbye through gritted teeth. Apter picks Owen Hart's King of the Ring triumph. Elner calls McMahon's courtroom victory the most important match he ever won. The tone is nostalgic, but not naive. They know the sport is changing forever. Even the ads in this issue tell a story. Full-page mail order spreads for Coliseum home videotapes. SummerSlam 94, Bash at the Beach, WrestleMania 10. Subscription cards promising 12 issues for the price of 10. Tiny classifieds offering wrestling photos, VHS tape trades, hotline numbers, and fan clubs. One ad for a Ric Flair retirement poster already feels prophetic. Thank you, Nature Boy, it says in gold letters, unaware he'd be back before the year was over. By the final page, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, in March 1995, stands not as a magazine, but as a monument. It's the closing chapter of wrestling's innocence. The year when the curtain began to lift, when the internet lurked in the shadows, when every fan became an amateur historian. The writing is earnest, the layout classic, the tone still believing that the business, though bruised and battered, was eternal. This wasn't clickbait, this wasn't social media, this was wrestling's printed heartbeat, and in those pages, yellowed now but still electric, you can hear the crowd, smell the arena, and feel the hum of a world before irony, before nostalgia, before the wink. This was wrestling when it was still real enough to believe in.